Yeah, absolutely.
I'm with in Guernsey with Constable Dennis Lemoignon and Deputy and Duzenier Lester Carapot. If one or other would like to introduce themselves, tell us a bit about what your role is.
I'm Dennis Lemoignon, and my role is constable, which is voluntary, unpaid job. We are head of the design in St Peter Port, which is virtually the town council, and the job is as busy as you want to make it. You could sit back and do nothing, but I prefer to do work, so I spend roughly half, 2/3 of the week in the office or around the town doing work for the parish.
And you're elected how often?
Elected every 4 years.
4 years, and that's an old parish election?
That is,
right.
Parish election.
And your fellow parish representative is Duzenier, and you're a deputy for a district in St Peter Port.
St Peter Port North, yes indeed. Very privileged position. Both are, actually. But I was a Duzenier first, and then I was a deputy after that, about 4 months after being elected as Duzenier. There was an election for politicians in Guernsey, a general election, and I was fortunate to obtain a seat on St Peter Port North, and now privileged position of working for the parish.
So how often
parish as a Duzenier and for the island.
How often is a dozen elections?
Well, you can retire or resign, say through ill health or whatever,
right,
if you needed to. But in general, Duzenier elections are 3 years.
And is it one day election for all Duzenier representatives throughout the parish?
No, it's staggered, isn't it?
It is staggered, right.
It's a staggered election. Yeah.
And for constables throughout the island, is it one day or is it different days? Each parish has their own.
They do have their own, but they're virtually around the same period
right.
of time. Again, that varies. Some parishes, the constables only serve for 1 year, and others 2 years. But St Peter Port is for 4 years.
So you're 3 years for a Duzenier. That doesn't come up for the same day as your deputy's election, and you're paid as a deputy, but not as a Duzenier.
That's right. Indeed. Yeah.
So as a Duzenier, how many people do you represent? Is it more or less than being a deputy?
No, you represent the north and south of St Peter Port.
Right.
Whereas we have St Peter Port North and St Peter Port South split into 2 for the politicians. So we have 7 politicians in the north and 6 in the south. But the Duzeniers are spread across both.
Is it a variation on this in all the parishes, or does it vary throughout? Because obviously some of the country parishes are small. They wouldn't want Duzeniers, a constable and deputy, or what happens there?
Well, up to you, Dennis.
Well, no, all the each parish has its design and
right.
2 constables. The majority of the parishes have 12 Duzeniers, plus 2 constables. But in St Peter Port, because originally it was traders and merchantmen who formed the Duzenier many years ago, they used to pop off on their boats with their masters, right, sailing with their cargo, so they needed to remain quorate. Hence the reason that we have 20. Now,
in St Peter Port.
In St Peter Port, our constables are also Duzeniers, which has 2 advantages. One, it reduces the number that could be 22 down to 20, and the other thing is that if the Duzenier has to vote, if you're a constable and not a Duzenier, then you're not part of that vote, and it's essential as being constable, in our opinion, that you are able to vote. So those are the reasons.
The purpose of this conversation is because we're trying to I'm trying to compare, because obviously in Jersey they're looking at a system which will have some similarities with what you're proposing, and that the main issue is about whether the constables continue to be in the Jersey state, the parish constables. So they could finish up with a situation which is more like yours. So I'm trying to discover what the benefits and the downsides of having a system like yours. The funds for St Peter Port obviously are quite substantial need for expenditure. Is there a crossover between parish expenditure and state's expenditure? Obviously there are some issues, education, things like that, but maintaining St Peter Port, the infrastructure, is that all done at local level through rates?
A lot of it is done at local level through rates, yes. It's a mixture actually. Very hard to define in a short time the whys and wherefores of who does what. But we are responsible for quite a lot of the infrastructure of the town.
Is that a changing situation? I think we were discussing previously things like licensing of pubs, entertainments, all those sorts of things. Are those strictly at parish?
We license the people who run the pubs and the bars, and we also license the bookies. We are responsible for issuing permits for buskers in the town, things like that. So.
And that's strictly a parish matter. You don't have to go to the bailiff to get the bailiff's permission.
That's written in law for the parish too.
And there isn't a separate licensing assembly, like we have a Jersey licensing assembly.
There is a separate licensing through the court for the actual building, but we have to approve the actual people who run the establishment.
And is that consistent in the other parishes? They all do more or less the same thing?
It is.
The fact that it's funded through the parish and you represent parish and you're in the state, does that ever give rise to conflict? You might go to a parish meeting and they might say they want some funding for this. As a douzenaire, that would be you have to go to the States and say, as a deputy, we want funding for that, but you might have a different hat as a States member to say, I don't agree with this. Does that conflicts arise?
Well, not really. It hasn't done yet. Not for me personally, and I haven't really witnessed it arising yet. But having only been a deputy for 10 months, and a douzenaire for, since January the 1st, so 2012, I haven't witnessed any conflict like that. But essentially, as a douzenaire, I want the best for the residents of the parish. I want the best for my parishioners as a douzenaire. And as a deputy, I want the best for my fellow islanders. So I'm always going to fight and support anything that's going to benefit the community and my parishioners.
Do you have what would be the equivalent in Jersey, I don't know what you call it, a ministerial post in the States? Do you have
Do I have?
Yes.
No. What I wanted essentially was to be on the scrutiny committee, which is the committee that asks all the questions.
And has that got a general scrutiny remit, or can you look at it? Because in Jersey they're specific. They have specific ones looking at education, specific ones looking at home affairs. Is that the way it's done here?
All right. We have one scrutiny committee which decides what it wants to do, what it wants to take on as a project of scrutiny.
And that can be on anything?
Well, at the moment there's AFR with the police on the AFR advocates issue. The payment that hasn't been revealed, so the scrutiny
payment to it's a Guernsey issue.
It's a legal issue, and it's still live, so I can't say a great deal about it. Although I don't know a great deal about it, it's all been very secretive. But scrutiny don't think it should be secretive. They are 100% behind accountability.
And is that a fixed number on the scrutiny panel? Can more States members elect to go on it? Or
there's 9 members of the...
And that's a fixed number?
Yeah.
But can members of the public put forward proposals to that scrutiny panel?
They can do, absolutely. Yes, we always welcome public engagement. Well, at the moment we've got the AFR versus the police legal issue. We're looking at the security of electricity to Guernsey, that whole issue, and we've got several projects in the pipeline. I'd like to look at the whole childcare issue in Guernsey, because I think it's time we reviewed that. So scrutiny have got the mandate to knock at all the doors, and if all the doors aren't open, then scrutiny have got the authority.
Could they look at could they look at justice matters? Could they look at parish matters? Could they look at anything, or is it strictly matters that come before the States they can look at?
No, they can choose to look at what they like. If they think there's a need, or they think there are questions to be asked, they will take on those.
And they bring in consultants to advise if necessary.
They haven't done yet, but of course I'm only in my infancy as a deputy.
Because
I suppose if they did need specialist advice, they would have to look at it.
Because it sounds like one committee to scrutinise everything sounds like a huge remit, but there is this other scrutiny element through the parishes, because before every state's meeting there's a parish meeting to look at the BA, and you discuss the issues that are coming up in the states on the Wednesdays, or on a Monday you look at the stuff that's coming up on the Wednesday. So that is a sort of a scrutiny role, isn't it?
It is, in a way. We meet once a month as a design, and pre our meeting, the deputies of the parish, and this applies to all the parishes, will come to the meeting, and we will run through the VA and have discussions about the items that will be discussed in the States Chamber, which is useful. We can put our views as we have been relayed from the public, and our own views based on information that we have relating to the public.
The public doesn't take part in that meeting?
No, it doesn't.
Do they get consulted in any specific way? Do they get invited?
No, not specifically.
No. But they do through their deputies who also attend?
Well, they can put their views and their concerns to a designeer or a deputy, yeah.
And do all deputies attend? Do all deputies try to attend those?
I think they all try to attend, but we never really get a full house, a full complement of deputies. But they can be quite lively, actually. Right. There can be quite a bit of banter going on across the room, which is great.
And as far as you know, all the country parishes do the same? They have those same meetings?
Yes.
And again, there's no conflict for you as a deputy and a douzineer?
No, because what I do, I arrange parishioners' drop-ins every Saturday before the state's debate. So that's when the parishioners can come along and voice any concerns, ask any questions, put us on the spot. So it's another opportunity. So there are several opportunities.
So that's you as a douzineer or as a deputy?
As a deputy, but as a douzineer it's quite interesting, because I tend to take a back seat. I don't feel as though I'm conflicted, but I purposely take a back seat when we have the douzaine and deputy BA discussions, because that usually lasts about 3/4 of an hour. But I purposely take a back seat because I can speak any time. I'm not averse to coming forward. I have no fear of speaking at any time at all on anything. But I feel that 3/4 of an hour should really be for the douzineers to talk to the deputies. They can talk to me anytime. I can talk to them anytime. I don't want to hijack a meeting. So I don't.
And at those Saturday meetings, the public can raise any issue they want. It's like a surgery type of consultation.
Absolutely.
And do other deputies attend that as well on a Saturday, or is that just yourself?
No, there's usually around six or seven deputies there as well. So, we have had as many as 11 parishioners and as few as 6 parishioners, which may not sound a lot, but it is a lot, because what happens is, if 6 parishioners come along and there's 6 deputies, and those 6 parishioners all stay for 20 minutes or half an hour, you always overlap, you see, so you're always going to be very, very busy. So some of the parishes don't hold those drop-ins because they don't get a great deal of interest.
Well, they're small parishes, very small populations. As a constable, do you drop into the drop-ins on a Saturday?
I don't normally drop in, no, because we leave that mainly to the deputies to have their direct conversation, with the public. Because we have an office in town which is open every day, except Saturdays and Sundays, throughout the day, and we have 3 staff there. The public do come in and talk to us, during these periods. So we don't actually need to have a drop-in session as such, and people do phone us and say, look, can we speak to you about a certain subject, but can we arrange a time because I can't get there during the day, and this does happen.
There's one issue which has come up in Jersey, the dreaded word, the party politics. No parties. I remember when there was a Guernsey Labour group many, many years ago. There's no party in Guernsey at the moment, is there? No political party?
Well, you could say there are unofficial parties, of course. There always are different viewpoints. A certain band of deputies will have a different viewpoint to another band of deputies, but there are no official party politics. Although we have, at the moment, do have a review of Guernsey government, and the State Review Committee are looking at.
Is that an ongoing rolling, or is it a special one set up?
It was a special committee set up by this Assembly to review the government processes here in Guernsey, and that'll be ongoing till the end of 2014, and then they will deliver their findings to the Assembly.
What are they sort of looking at specifically?
Well, do we want party politics or not? That's essentially one of the major questions.
You can't construct them by decree. They have to grow organically, don't they?
Well, that's right. That's right. But you see, this Assembly is I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say quite different to previous assemblies, because we had 22 new faces elected in the recent election with new ideas and new focus and new goals and aspirations and intentions that they want to pursue. So it's a very diverse assembly. But it wouldn't be too difficult to split them into 2 or 3 parties, I don't think. So
one of the aspects they're looking at, if the constables cease to be in the Jersey states, and they're in this country, what you're just saying, they're looked upon by many as being tantamount to a party, and I'd like to discuss that again with you about constables. But there's a bit more structured here, a bit more different structure here with deuxaniers, constables and deputies. Now, of course, in theory, you can be all 3 if you want to be. If you've got so many hours to spare, you can be all 3. The most at the moment is 2, isn't it? Deputy and deuxanier or deputy constable.
Yes.
The chief minister, I think.
Or deuxanier.
My predecessor was all 3 in actual fact.
Really?
She was deputy, constable and deuxanier.
Yes, she was,
Yeah.
How extraordinary.
Yeah.
And was that workable, or was it...
You're asking for personal opinion now. I don't think it was, quite frankly. I think that's sort of too much, you know.
The old chief minister has got a double role. He's a deuxanier chief minister.
He is, but his term as a deuxanier is finishing shortly.
Right.
And he will not stand again. But he said he